What's going on, guys? It's Jimmy here. Welcome to our daily show where we discuss everything going on here in our country that you need to know about on a daily basis, including money, investing, the stock market, the fourth stimulus package update, and stimulus check update. If you haven't subscribed to our YouTube channel yet, make sure to click the subscribe button down below. It's completely free to do so. New videos come out here every day at 10 a.m., 3 p.m., and 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Also, thanks so much for hitting the like button for us down below. We are learning more and more by the minute here of the Uvalde shooting here. As you can see here, we are learning that the shooter fired outside the building for 12 minutes before entering. And this is just growing more and more angering by the minute. And we learned here yesterday that Texas officers waited more than an hour to confront the shooter as kids kept calling 911. Yeah, it's just unbelievable here. And this is as they were literally just being shot to death. And even the Texas governor and the Texas lieutenant governor are now saying that we were not told the truth. Initially, they said the law enforcement did a good job, but now they're saying, well, check this out. Texas Lieutenant Governor Dan Patrick, Republican, said state officials, quote, were not told the truth about the time police took to neutralize the shooter at the elementary school in Uvalde, Texas, speaking on Fox and Friends this weekend on Saturday. Patrick said police made a poor decision to wait to engage the gunman, which cost lives. Texas Governor Greg Abbott, also a Republican, said Friday that he was, quote, misled about the police response to the shooting and is, quote, livid. Abbott had previously praised police for their response to the situation. Police have come under increased scrutiny in the past few days over the amount of time they took to engage the shooter who killed 19 students and 2 teachers Tuesday, and now one of the teachers' husbands died of a heart attack just like a day or two later. Law enforcement officials have gave conflicting amounts of timeline of the events of the shooting in the days immediately following it. Patrick said state officials were also not informed of the 45 minutes to an hour that passed when police were present at the school, but the shooter was still firing inside a classroom where he had barricaded himself. Texas law officials have said that the local police were wrong to have waited to engage the gunman, and that the on-scene commander thought the status of the incident had shifted from an active shooter situation to a barricaded subject and that the children were no longer in harm's way, which really doesn't make sense because he was inside the classroom. And just imagine the parents of these children who have to now live forever thinking that what if police would have just acted sooner? I mean, there was like 30 policemen there and one shooter. So yeah, it's really just a tragic story, and hopefully they can learn from this. But now the country is questioning um, the use of should active assault rifles and semi-automatics be sold. And I'll give you the pros and where I'll give you the both sides of the story here. Here's what former President Donald Trump just had to say here, just in the last like 24 hours or so, and then I'll give you the counter argument here. um, Check this out.
Now is the time to find common ground. Sadly, before the sun had even set on the horrible day of tragedy, we witnessed a now familiar parade of cynical politicians seeking to exploit the tears of sobbing families to increase their own power and take away our constitutional rights. Every time a disturbed or demented person commits such a hideous crime, there's always a grotesque effort by some in our society to use the suffering of others to advance their own extreme political agenda. Even more repulsive is their rush to shift blame away from the villains who commit acts of mass violence and to place that blame onto the shoulders of millions of peaceful, law-abiding citizens who belong to organizations such as our wonderful NRA.
Now, on the flip side of this, I'm going to show you a video that I came across here. This is from several years ago, but this will really kind of give you the counter argument. This is from Chelsea Handler. And, well, let me know your thoughts on this. This is really, really kind of, well, you let me know your thoughts here. Check this out. Okay, scratch that, cut it, reverse it. Had to make an edit later on here. Went to upload the video, and YouTube said, nope. Chelsea Handler and their video is copyrighted. So we had to edit that, reverse it, and erase it. But here is what Chelsea Handler had to say. You can look up her video later on YouTube. It is called Chelsea on Ending Gun Violence. I think it may also be on Netflix. But what she has to say is, in 1996, a gunman went into an Australian cafe, shot and killed 35 people. He injured 23 more using a semi-automatic rifle. 12 days later, Australian government announced a bipartisan deal banning automatic and semi-automatic rifles and shotguns. 12 days later, a bipartisan deal.
I don't think we could get anything done in 12 days.
Talk about taking action, right? Australian government did it, okay? Here's what happened. Okay? They enacted a national program to buy back all of the guns on the streets. They banned the private sale of guns and required all guns to be individually registered to their owners. Okay, I don't know the ins and outs of this. This is kind of her words. I don't believe they banned the sale of all guns, just the automatic and the semi-automatics. They also instituted a 28 waiting day period for gun purchases, regular ones, and required gun purchasers provide a genuine reason for needing a gun. Since this gun control legislation was passed in 1996, Australia has had 0 fatal mass shootings. And this is when there was a huge applause from the audience. I'll show you a couple articles here to kind of back this up. From Fast Company, which is actually a magazine I used to get. Why Australia has only had 1 mass shooting since 1996. So remember, I said that video was several years old. Maybe they have now had 1 since then. But remember, the United States has had 213 mass shootings in just 21 weeks of this year alone. That's 10 per week. So when you look at the difference here, Australia didn't have any. Maybe they have had 1 now. Australia's government banned automatic and semi-automatic guns and created a national firearms registry and made a 28-day long waiting period for gun purchases. And you can see here the Port Arthur massacre in Port Arthur, Tasmania, perpetrated by Martin Bryant in 1996, which killed 35 and injured 24. The Australian government responded with a massive mandatory gun buyback and restricted future gun purchases. Really restricted just mean they have some regulations on it. And it never happened again. This is preventable. This is preventable. And you could down here below it says Australians have flocked online to boast about local gun control laws in the wake of American latest school shooting. Saying, quote, here is our former conservative PM Prime Minister John Howard facing a pro-gun rally after the Port Arthur massacre in 1996. Change can happen. Every Aussie, regardless of political persuasion, is thankful for our gun law reform. It can be done. We've never had a mass shooting since. Now, maybe they've had one since then, and maybe it was, with a regular, not an automatic or something like that. But think about the difference here of what has happened in their country, and look at what is happening here in our country, where we have had 213 just in 21 weeks in 2022 alone. And now I'm not saying let's take every single gun from every single American, because by all means, that's not what needs to happen. And that's not what happened in Australia either. Okay. But let's be realistic here. I think that we need some kind of reform. We need some kind of change here. This is really the only country, America, United States, in which this happens. And do we want this to continue to happen 10 times every single week going forward? And do we want the NRA to just continue to say, "Oh no, this is okay. No regulations, no reform. Just let anybody anywhere be able to just go out and buy these assault rifles and stuff at their whim, and not have anybody." I mean, you let me know your thoughts in the comments, but I think if you just look at it realistically, not far right, not far left, just look at it and just try to think of the problem that this is really a United States problem. They really don't have these type of problems, like we do anywhere else in the world. How do we fix it? How do we, bring it back a little bit? I'm not saying go drastically right or drastically left, but reel it in a little bit. Let's protect our schools, protect our stadiums, protect our gatherings here, and let me know your thoughts. And the NRA leader here says he calls gun ownership a fundamental human right. And me just kind of being a realist, not a Republican, not a Democrat, I kind of take a middle of the line road here. I think that we don't need to ban gun ownership completely, but I think that there needs to be some kind of new rules, regulations. I don't think that automatic rifles and semi-automatics. Just my point of view. I don't think these military weapons really need to be in the hands of 18-year-old kids and stuff like that. And of course, I get that everybody has different opinions and stuff like that. Um, the problem that we have here is that anytime we try to pass any type of safety type of laws like this, almost every single Republican votes no on it. So, like, even when you heard what former President Donald Trump says, why don't they just pass some gun safety laws for schools and this and that? Well, the problem is that anything having to do with gun safety gets voted down. Even though the Democrats have control of the House, the Senate, and the presidency, you need 60 votes to pass anything in the Senate without the reconciliation process, which this would not. You wouldn't be able to pass this through the reconciliation process because it doesn't affect the budget of the country. So um, it's just a tough situation here. So let me know your thoughts here. And I get that, this goes back all the way to the Constitution, and this is kind of a right of Americans. But this is really, we're kind of like the only country that this happens to, and this has happened 213 times already just in 2022, in 21 weeks. So we have a mass shooting pretty much 10 times a week in the United States. So if you just kind of think about that, do you not think that we need some type of reform, some type of, I don't know. I think at the bare minimum, we need a lot more security at schools. Every single school needs a lot more security. In fact, I did see this here that one school has. Check this out.
Security breach.
At Southwestern High School in Indiana, the kids drill.
I see they're all running past this red line. What is that?
The red line is a security measure, and that's in place because if we stand behind this red line, if there's a shooter at the door, they cannot see the children.
And this is something schools can do right now, this red line on the ground.
Absolutely.
But here they go high-tech too. The classroom doors are bullet resistant and cameras, so many cameras everywhere. And it's not just school officials watching either. They're connected live with the sheriff's department 10 miles away. Authorities can track an intruder in real time.
Every teacher here, you have your own panic button.
Yeah, we all wear a fob in case there's a security breach. We can push this button and the entire alarm system goes off in the school.
And something else I actually want to show you real quick. When that happens, every classroom has a box like this, also hooked up to the sheriff's department. The teacher can flip help if they actually see the suspect or they're in danger, or they can flip safe if the kids are safe.
In 2015, I tested it, playing the intruder.
Showing a male subject in a blue suit.
If I was a real intruder, I couldn't get into a single classroom. They're all locked. Every last one of them.
But the biggest counterattack is yet to come.
He's walking towards exit 14. I'm going to launch the hot zone.
The school's secret weapon called hot zones. Exploding smoke cannons hidden in the ceiling. Cops can deploy them in an instant.
Whoa. There's smoke. It is loud and it's meant to disorient the suspect. I mean, look at this. The smoke is filling the hallway. You can barely even see me. Whoa. The other amazing thing is they're watching the suspect on real-time cameras, so no matter where the suspect goes, they can keep setting off these hot zones so he stays blind.
The system is expensive, $400,000, but school officials say worth it in this scary new world. Jeff Rawson, NBC News, Shelbyville, Indiana.
And you might think $400,000 is a lot for their safety, but when you realize that some schools spend 60 or $70 million just on their high school football stadiums, well, you might realize that then it's really not that much to protect their lives. The problem with this, of course, well, there's only a very few schools that actually have these type of systems. And of course, I think all schools need to have policemen at the doors and these locking door systems as well. And you can let me know your thoughts here in the comments. So yeah, let me know your thoughts here. I'll keep you up to date here with everything going on here in our country that you need to know about. Make sure to subscribe down below to our YouTube channel. It's completely free to do so. New videos come out here every day at 10 a.m., 3 p.m., and 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. You can click here to watch my newest video next. And you can click here to see my new stimulus check video I just did with a lot of good information. So click on one of those videos next. Thanks for watching, guys, and I'll see you in the next video.